The Caribbean sky splits open with the roar of twin AL-31F turbofans as a Venezuelan SU-30 Mk2 Flanker G pushes through Mach 1.2, its pilot scanning the horizon for what intelligence? Briefings called an impossible target. What happens in the next 8 minutes will fundamentally change everything this experienced aviator thought he knew about air combat. Before we dive into this shocking encounter that left military analysts worldwide speechless, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us which aircraft you think dominates modern air superiority. The SU-30 pilot, a veteran with over 2,000 flight hours, had trained extensively in Russia and considered himself among the elite. His aircraft, a formidable twin-engine, two-seat multi-role fighter, bristled with R-77 and R-73 missiles. The radar system hummed as he activated combat mode, expecting to track the American intruder that had been reported violating Venezuelan airspace. But his display remained eerily empty. No radar return, no heat signature, nothing but the endless blue of the tropical sky stretching before him like an ocean of air. Ground control vectored him towards the last known position, their voices tense with urgency. The political implications were enormous. Venezuela had invested billions in Russian military hardware, specifically to counter American air power. This SU-30, with its thrust vectoring nozzles and impressive maneuverability, represented the pinnacle of what money could buy outside Western arms markets. The pilot rolled inverted, scanning visually while his weapons systems officer worked the sensors frantically. Still nothing. It was like chasing a ghost. Then, without warning, his threat receiver exploded with alarm tones. The F-35 Lightning II had been there all along, positioned perfectly in his 6 o'clock blind spot, invisible to every sensor aboard the flanker. The American pilot had tracked him for 3 full minutes, maintaining a firing solution that would have been lethal in actual combat. The Venezuelan aviator's blood turned to ice as he realized the fundamental asymmetry of this encounter. He was flying a supremely capable 4th-generation plus fighter, but he might as well have been piloting a biplane against a modern jet. The F-35's stealth characteristics weren't just about radar-absorbing materials or angular surfaces. The American fighter incorporated sensor fusion technology that created a complete battlespace picture, feeding information directly into the pilot's helmet-mounted display. Every radar, every infrared sensor, every electronic warfare suite worked together seamlessly. The Lightning II pilot could see the SU-30 from dozens of angles simultaneously, tracking its every move while remaining completely invisible. Modern air combat had evolved beyond traditional dogfighting into something resembling a video game where one player could see through walls. The Venezuelan pilot did exactly what his training demanded. He broke hard left, pulling 8 Gs in a desperate evasive maneuver, his vision tunneling as blood drained from his brain. The SU-30's thrust vectoring nozzles allowed him to execute a stunning Cobra maneuver, briefly hanging the massive fighter tail first in the sky. In any conventional engagement, this would have forced a pursuing aircraft to overshoot, surrendering the advantage. But the F-35 wasn't playing by those rules. It simply adjusted position, using its incredible situational awareness, maintaining both stealth and tactical superiority. What followed was a masterclass in asymmetric warfare. The SU-30 pilot executed every trick in his extensive playbook, performing maneuvers that pushed both aircraft and human physiology to their limits. He rolled, dove, climbed vertically with afterburners blazing, burned through fuel at an alarming rate trying to gain any advantage. His weapons systems officer cycled through every sensor mode, trying desperately to achieve a stable lock. They caught fleeting glimpses on infrared, momentary blips that disappeared before weapons could be deployed. The F-35 remained a phantom, always just beyond reach, yet simultaneously in perfect attack position. Modern air combat analysts studying this encounter later explained the brutal mathematics involved. The F-35's advanced electronics warfare suite could detect, classify, and jam enemy radars while simultaneously feeding targeting data to the pilot. Its low observable characteristics reduced radar cross-section to approximately that of a golf ball. Meanwhile, the SU-30, despite being an excellent fighter by conventional standards, presented a radar signature roughly equivalent to a school bus. The technological generation gap created a situation where visual range dogfighting, once the ultimate test of pilot skill, became almost irrelevant. The psychological impact on the Venezuelan pilot cannot be overstated. Fighter aviators train their entire careers for air-to-air combat, building confidence through thousands of hours in simulators and live exercises. They understand angles, energy states, weapons envelopes, and how to exploit every advantage their aircraft provides. But against a true fifth-generation fighter like the F-35, all that expertise suddenly meant very little. It was like bringing superior swordsmanship skills to a gunfight. The game had changed completely, and his aircraft simply wasn't equipped to compete. After 8 minutes of futile maneuvering that accomplished nothing except burning fuel and demonstrating complete tactical helplessness, ground control ordered the SU-30 to disengage. The F-35 had made its point without firing a single shot, executing what military strategists call a non-kinetic kill. The Venezuelan aircraft limped back to base, its crew shaken and the entire incident classified immediately. But word spread quickly through military aviation circles. Pilots from countries operating similar Russian equipment began asking uncomfortable questions about their actual combat effectiveness against American stealth fighters. This encounter highlighted the massive investments Western nations, particularly the United States, have made in sensor technology, data fusion, and stealth characteristics. The F-35 program, despite its enormous cost overruns and development delays, had produced an aircraft that fundamentally changed air combat dynamics. Its ability to detect, track, and engage targets while remaining undetected created a first look, first shot, first kill advantage that proved almost insurmountable. Traditional metrics of fighter performance, like top speed, climb rate, and maneuverability, suddenly seemed almost quaint compared to the electronic warfare capabilities and situational awareness modern systems provided. The Venezuelan military faced a sobering reality check. Their considerable investment in Russian hardware, while impressive on paper, couldn't bridge the technological generation gap. The SU-30 remains an excellent aircraft capable of defeating older American fighters like the F-16 or F-15 in certain scenarios. But against the F-35, and especially against the F-22 Raptor, conventional fourth-generation fighters found themselves at a potentially fatal disadvantage. This reality forced difficult conversations about procurement strategies, training methodologies, and whether massive quantities of older equipment could somehow compensate for qualitative inferiority. Military analysts worldwide studied this incident intensively, though official details remained scarce. The implications extended far beyond one Caribbean encounter. Nations that had purchased Russian equipment, from Su-27 variants to MiG-29s, suddenly questioned whether their air forces could actually defend national airspace against American power projection. The psychological impact of knowing your opponent can see you while remaining invisible fundamentally undermines combat effectiveness. Pilots flying into situations where they're effectively blind fight with one hand tied behind their backs, regardless of aircraft maneuverability or weapons payload. The encounter also demonstrated why the United States maintains its enormous defense budget despite constant domestic criticism. The technological advantages purchased through decades of sustained research and development investment created capabilities that simply cannot be matched by nations with smaller budgets or less advanced industrial bases. Stealth technology, advanced sensors, data fusion, and electronic warfare systems require not just money, but entire ecosystems of specialized companies, research institutions, and manufacturing capabilities that take generations to develop. For the Venezuelan SU-30 pilot, the experience proved humbling and educational. He returned to base understanding viscerally what military theorists had been discussing for years. Fifth-generation air combat wasn't about dogfighting skills or aircraft maneuverability. It was about information dominance, sensor fusion, and the ability to detect, track, and engage threats before they even knew you were there. His regret wasn't about tactical mistakes or poor flying. He flew his aircraft to its absolute limits. His regret was accepting a mission that was unwinnable from the start, where technological superiority had rendered traditional pilot skills almost irrelevant.